Hello guys, this is Fake Concept and I am bringing you guys an assignment. Yup. Okay, let's get started. Alrighty, so this whole book was about a dog named Buck and he lived in California and he was treated very good, and then he got kidnapped and then was taken to a place in Alaska to put in a dog sledding to go to the Klondike to get gold, but he needed to be sold. So the people that were left him out of the cage he was in when he was kidnapped, they gave him to a man in a red suit and he was hit after hit with a club, and he finally learned his lesson to attack humans. But then he was sold to a few men that were heading to the Klondike. They already had a dog sledding team and they were very smart, but they taught Buck to steal, and there was the alpha dog was named Spitz and he was a bad dog, like a real bad dog, but then he was getting Buck mad and then Buck just sat there and took it, but then Spitz got in trouble and then Buck in his own way told, and then Spitz would get mad and then try to get Buck again, and Spitz would get in crap. But then one morning Spitz was going to attack, but then another dog jumped out of the tent and little did they know she had rabies, and the dog was chasing Buck through the whole bush and back around when the owner slammed an axe through the dog's skull. Wow, that is horrible, but the dog had rabies. Okay, then that night the other dogs were stealing bacon that the owners were making, and then out of nowhere, I think it was 4 huskies, attacked the camp and the dogs were helping fight them off and the owners were snapping 2 of their necks, and then Spitz attacked Buck and then they met up in the bush. After they killed all of the dogs, Spitz got in trouble again and they went to bed. That morning Spitz and Buck were chasing a rabbit and then they got into a massive brawl. And then they got surrounded by a huge yoke of huskies and then the weakest dog was eaten and attacked, so they went at it Spitz, but Buck and was whining and then Buck got a comeback. Then Buck won and the huskies attacked Spitz and then Buck walked away, and then they traveled a long way. They traveled and then they came up to some town. So then the owners of the dog took him to some town and they gambled and stuff and drank and then were in he money by a lot, and then they had to give the dog sled team to him, and the people he gave them to were very bad people. So the people he gave them to 3 were abusive and they didn't feed the dogs and they made them run and run and run, and then finally they all laid down and did not want to get up. So then the new owners pulled out the whip and was snapping it beside the dogs. All of the dogs got up but Buck, and then the owner keep using the whip, and then the man John Thowding got up and beat the guy up that was trying to hurt Buck and unscraped Buck and took him. Then the owners drove away of the ice and then the ice broke and they all died. So then John and Buck went on to find some gold, and then they went on the trail and then they found a little place that they were going to hang out at. So and Buck runs off because he hears the call of the wild, aka the wolf, and then he ran off and met up with the wolf and they had fun and hung out and then they separated, and then Buck went back to camp and then him and John went to bed, and then John and the other 2 guys and then Nag and stuff. Buck ran away again into the wild and then was hunting a big moose, and he sat there for a good day hunting it, and then he killed it and then ran back to the camp and found everyone dead, and so Buck got rage mode and killed all of the people who killed John and Nag and all of them, and then went and killed some wolves and became the leader of the wolf pack. So that is this book.